We got you updated. This is Radio Imanzi News in English.
You are tuned to Radio Imanzi, broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganga. The headlines. A Rwandan tech startup has been selected for the Norskin International Accelerator. The German pharmaceutical firm BioNTech has announced the start of the construction of an mRNA vaccine factory in Kigali. Zinedine Zidane's advisor says talk of PSG coaching job unfounded. Welcome back. News in detail. A Rwandan tech startup has been selected to participate in the second edition of the Norskin Impact Accelerator. The startup uses technology to help business workers' performance and attendance. Gaston Ruchibigango with more.
The Norskin Impact is a foundation established by Niklas Albert, the co-founder of Klarna, a Swedish fintech unicorn which supports entrepreneurs globally in solving some of the world's biggest challenges. A total of 20 startups from around the world have been chosen for the program, and 9 of them are from the African continent. The selected 20 companies deal with issues like poverty, mental health, sustainable agriculture, financial inclusion, and green energy. Every startup will be given a sum of $125,000 upfront by the foundation for investment.
The German pharmaceutical firm BioNTech has announced the start of the construction of an mRNA vaccine factory in Kigali to enable African nations to start their own manufacturing network. According to the manufacturer, the groundbreaking for construction of the mRNA vaccine factory is expected to take place in Kigali on June 23rd.
Initial estimates show that 2 modules will sit on about 800 square meters of space and offer an estimated initial capacity of up to 50 million doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine annually. The event will be attended by President Paul Kagame, different heads of states, and World Health Organization officials, among others. BioNTech will initially staff and operate the facilities to support the safe and rapid initiation of the production of mRNA-based vaccines doses under stringent good manufacturing processes to prepare for the transfer of know-how to local partners to enable independent operation. Vaccines manufactured in these facilities are expected to be dedicated to domestic use and export to other member states of the African Union at a not-for-profit price. According to the Minister of Health, Dr. Daniel Ngamije, the facility will be set up in the Special Economic Zone in Gasabo District.
Thank you, Manzi Prince. More efforts have been called for to complement strategies that are currently employed to address mental health issues in Gasabo District. This was addressed during the launch of Bahoneza Mental Health in Gasabo District, a project by Imbuto Foundation that seeks to contribute to the reduction of the mental health burden in Rwanda. According to last year's records from Rwanda Biomedical Center, there were over 4,400 recorded cases of mental illnesses in Gasabo District. Manzi Prince comes with this report.
The project was launched to increase awareness on mental health with special focus on family as the basic unit of society. Some of the factors contributing to the high mental health cases in the district include post-genocide trauma, violence, ignorance, drug addiction, and poverty. Executive Administrator at Gasabo District, Pauline Umngadi, said they should not normalize not feeling well or claim the illness to be a chronic condition from the family. Approach healthcare experts, they will analyze what the issue is. The project has provided mental health experts to each health center in the Gasabo district, and more activities will be included in the implementation of the project, such as healthcare counseling, awareness, among others. Wahoneza Mental Health is a 3-year project by Imbuto Foundation in partnership with the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion and Rwanda Biomedical Center RBC. It will be established in 6 targeted districts such as Nyamasheke, Nyaruguru, Nyagatare, Musanze, Bugesera, to contribute to reducing the mental health burden in Rwanda.
The Water and Sanitation Corporation has signed an agreement for wastewater management with Lake Victoria Basin Commission. The agreement is said to help upgrading investments in the infrastructure covering Kigali City. Gaston Chibigango with this report.
The project aims at improving water quality and reducing wastewater. The agreement was signed by Coletta Ruhamya, the Deputy Executive Secretary of the Lake Victoria Basin Commission, and Gisele Umuhumuza, Acting Chief Executive Officer of WASAC. The project is aimed at reducing wastewaters flowing into the Lake Victoria through regional river systems. The implementation will involve development of industries that will sanitize wastewater in domestic homes. Upon completion of the project, Kigali residents will have a complete water management system and get rid of pit latrines. Currently, once a pit latrine is full, one has to dig another, resulting in the waste of land that could be used for productive purposes.
A total of 400 to 25,109 students from all school levels are expected to sit for national examinations from mid-July to early August. 229,480 candidates will sit for primary leaving examinations, 127,074 and 45,772 are O-level and A-level candidates respectively. Candidates from technical and vocational education and training are 19,893 and Teachers Training College 2,890. This report is by the courtesy of Gaston Ruchibigango.
The registration process has been closed and examination papers have been prepared and are being printed. Currently, examination stakeholders are being trained by NESA on the digitalization of the examination process. NESA has promised to digitize the whole examination process. The National Examination Authority has urged parents, guardians and teachers to ensure that candidates are registered and well prepared to sit for national examination, and also have to work closely with school leaders to ensure accuracy of the student identification.
Some items of international news on Radio Imanzi.
Pope Francis has postponed his visit to the Democratic Republic of Congo and South Sudan due to ill health. Director of the Holy See Press Office said that the trip was planned for the first week of July, but the Pope will now set another date. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Pope was due to visit the capital Kinshasa and Goma in North Kivu province. The theme of Pope Francis' visit to the DRC was All Reconciled in Jesus Christ, and the major poster campaign was carried out in Kinshasa and North Kivu. Pope Francis' program included a 2-hour Eucharistic celebration at Ndolo Airport, north of Kinshasa. After the capital, the Pope was to fly to Goma, where he was to lead a mass before meeting victims of violence in that part of the country. Pope Francis' visit to the DRC was eagerly awaited, which would have come 37 years after Pope John Paul II visited Kinshasa. Senegalese President and African Union Chair Macky Sall has urged Ukraine to demine waters around its Odessa port to ease much-needed grain exports from the war-torn country. President Sall said that if wheat exports do not resume from Ukraine, Africa will be in a situation of very serious famine that could destabilize the continent. Russia and Ukraine produce 30% of the global wheat supply, but grain has remained stuck in Ukraine's ports due to a Russian blockade, while Western sanctions on Moscow have disrupted exports from Russia. Equatorial Guinea's Vice President Teodoro Obiang has threatened to expel the French ambassador over a row triggered by a corruption case in Paris. A top French court last year upheld a 3-year suspended term against Obiang over property bought in France with funds suspected to have come from a plundered state assets. The decision opened the way to confiscating property in a Paris top-end avenue, a 3,000 square meter mansion worth an estimated 107 million euros that houses Equatorial Guinea's embassy as well as apartments. An appeal court on Wednesday rejected Equatorial Guinea's bid to overturn the ruling, opening the way in theory for the embassy to be forced out of the mansion. And this prompted Obiang to warn that if Paris goes ahead with expelling their diplomats from the embassy building, he will give the French ambassador 24 hours to leave the territory of Equatorial Guinea. Sudan's leading pro-democracy group has met with the country's generals for the first time since last year's military coup. The meeting held in the capital Khartoum brought the Forces for the Declaration of Freedom and Change, an alliance of political parties and protest groups, together with the representatives of the country's ruling military council. The talks focused on resolving the current political impasse and were mediated by the Saudi embassy and the U.S. delegation in Sudan. Zinedine Zidane's advisor has denied that Zinedine is set to replace Mauricio Pochettino as Paris Saint-Germain's coach next season. Earlier today, a French radio station, Europe 1, reported that Zidane would immediately take over without citing any source. Zidane's advisor later said all these rumors that are circulating are unfounded. He also noted that neither Zidane nor himself have been contacted directly by the owner of PSG.
Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi.
Now, the Rwanda Stock Exchange Market Report. The trading station recorded a total turnover of 2,515,200 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in one deal on the fixed income market, while the equities market remained quiet. Bralirwa closed the counter at 160 Rwandan francs, Bank of Kigali at 265, I&M Bank at 43 Rwandan francs, Simerwa at 120 Rwandan francs, M10 Rwanda at 178 Rwandan francs, Equity Bank at 440, Kenya Commercial Bank at 370, National Media Group at 1,200, Uchumi Supermarket at 104, and RH Buffalo closed the counter at 526 Rwandan francs as the market closed. Now the currency market review of today. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.6 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 8.8 Rwandan francs. Tanzanian shilling buying price was 0.43 and the selling price was 0.44. Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.271 and the selling price was 0.277. Burundian franc buying price was 0.49 and the selling price was 0.5. The US dollar buying price was 1,012 and the selling price was 1,033. The British pound buying price was 1,265 and the selling price was 1,290. The euro buying price was 1,077 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,098 Rwandan francs. With that, we come to the end of tonight's edition with me, Fiona Umuganwa.